everyone, welcome back to another episode of my Minecraft Hardcore Season 2 world. We are currently down in the mines because I've been doing some more diamond mining, believe it or not. And we have a lot of diamonds. We have all of these diamonds in here, as well as 15 that I fortuned up as well by accident. And we also have some more stacks in here, coming out at 8 full stacks of diamond ores, and an additional 14 and 15 that I accidentally fortuned up already. So let's see what exactly we get when we fortune them up at the moment. I've just fallen down a hole. I've got to say, I hope it's a lot because, well, I don't want to mine diamonds anymore. I'm absolutely sick of it. Please tell me that we're at the end of this. Also, you may have noticed that I sound a little bit different, and that's because I've been fiddling around with my audio settings. I don't know how this sounds. Is it a better sound? Please let me know, and we'll record like this, or I will try to find whatever the settings were before I changed them, and we'll see how it goes from there. I mean, I did listen to what I sounded like, and, you know, I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to audio. It's like a kind of magic for me. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do with those settings when I'm recording these videos. So this might sound good, it might sound terrible. Please let me know. And if you look at that, my fortune pickaxe is already fully repaired. I've only mined 2 stacks of diamonds. I also apologise for the lack of uploads recently. I had a week where I was just ill. You know, it wasn't great. I didn't want to talk, like, at all, so I postponed making this video. I'm sorry about the wait, if it was much of a wait. Hopefully this episode will be worth the wait. We'll see how it goes. Oh, my inventory is full. That's a good sign. I like that a lot. And this is the last of our diamond ores, and that means that we have 18 stacks of diamonds and 30. That's pretty good, but we also have a few spares in here. 8. Awesome, so hopefully that comes out to another additional block. We will see though. Let's see what we actually have in far as numbers of diamond blocks. Come on, we've got a stack and 49 so far. Is that 2 stacks? It is. Nice. 2 stacks and 4 diamond blocks. That is actually awesome. That should come out to be a lot of progress with our blue lava floor back at spawn. Oh, the day that I finally finish placing diamond blocks is the day that I can finally start working on the corrupted volcano again. Like, I don't want to work on just this floor anymore. Although, would I be able to finish this today? Theoretically speaking, if I've got 2 stacks and 4, I've only got that bit to do and that to do. You know what? There's not actually that much left to fill in here. If I'm really lucky, I might actually be able to finish this floor today. Let's see how that goes. And in go the diamond blocks. Oh no! Guys, are you serious? I've gotten so close, but I've run out with the very last line. So how many is this? Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 blocks of diamonds short, I think? Ah, I knew I should have gone for another tunnel. But, you know what? I'm fine with this kind of progress. It means that I can definitively say that we only have 1 episode left of filling in with diamond blocks. Oh, we were so close. Wow, I am so ready to be done with this floor. I'm gonna level with you all. Mining for diamonds is not that interesting when you're doing it in a 1x1 hole and you're just mining in a straight line for hours upon hours upon hours for forever, what feels like forever. You kind of get tunnel vision, and it's really not good. So the fact that I have come almost to the end of this project with this one tiny line left to fill in, that's really good news. That is seriously good news. Can't wait to be done. Oh, we're so close! Wow. You can't even see the line if I look at it from here. You can't even see the part that I haven't done yet, unless I look down. Wow. We have put a serious amount of work into this place, and it's still not done, because I still need to add sea lanterns! We'll get to that at some point. The main thing is, though, is that the blue lava floor will in fact be finished for the world download in episode 50. And I think that's a pretty good achievement, because it means that I can work on some other things in the meantime. Like building the volcano. The volcano requires some more work. But anyway, we are working over here at the creaking resin farm because we need to build ourselves some kind of enchanted forest. We've gotten all of these trees here, every single wood type, so that we can farm it up over there. Just here, we need to get a thick canopy set up. And I think we're going to start with a custom tree of our own. It's all going to be custom trees, but I think we need to try and develop a process of how we actually build these things, because custom trees are hard, and they are especially hard if you don't really know what you're doing. So I'm over here at the Dog Hotel to show how I actually built this custom cherry tree in the middle here. And what I did is I actually built this entire tree out of dirt first. I didn't have any leaves. It was just the bare bones wood out of dirt. And then I started adding some little fence posts off at the ends of the branches. And then I tried to add loads of leaves surrounding everything. And I think I've done it in such a way that it still looks kind of bushy. And I think the fence posts and actually the walls, I've added nether brick walls there as well to help. I think they've done a good job of helping the place look a little bit bushier. And then I replaced a lot of the leaves with various other blocks, like other azalea leaves and glazed terracotta and wool. And I think it turned out pretty well, especially from down here. I think the tree looks great from inside this build. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and build our tree out of resin, not dirt this time. We just want to get our shape right. And then we can go in and add all of the little details, like the fence posts going off at the ends of the branches and making the branches get thinner as they progress. And then we can add all of our leaves. And I don't think we'll go for a tree as big as this one. This is actually a really big tree. Although maybe I should go for a tree this size. A lot of these trees I think would do really well in that area, especially if I'm going for some kind of enchanted forest. But I think that we will see how we go, and we'll see how our trees develop as we build them over time. So let's just build our tree over here, I guess, and we'll see how we go. Let's get started with a nice big trunk at first. I think we're going to go for a nice and thick one. Would that do? I'd quite like the trees to look really old, so if I could have some kind of thick trunk at the base and then maybe curve them up a little bit, I don't know, and then try and also send some branches out here and there. Now, how is this for a shape? Is that a good small tree shape? We'll knock that off. I mean, I think it could be better. We can still do things like that. In fact, we'll probably raise that up a block as well, or maybe we could bring it down. Is that good? And we need to remember that this tree needs to be somewhat balanced, so if we have something like that, we don't have the entire tree bending over in that direction. but we also have it balancing itself out with branches going in the other direction as well, so that the tree doesn't just fall over in the ground. We don't want that. No siree. That would be a bad thing. Is this a good trunk? I don't know. Let's get rid of that block. Oh, it kind of needs something there, though. Like that. That. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, how is this? Let's knock that out. Okay. Is that good? I don't like it. Let's do that. Because what you do with the actual woody section of your tree, it does kind of make or break the build. Not gonna lie, so you just want to keep adding blocks until it begins to take shape and just sort of shave them off as you go along. And I think this... I like this. I think this is pretty good. It's very thick at the bottom. It's not the usual kind of tree that I would build. I mean, I don't know what kind of usual tree I would build. I don't build trees often enough. I know I've built some pretty big trees in my Minecraft career, but it's not something I build a lot of. Like, I think the last time I built a tree was probably... half a year ago. It's literally that tree that I showed in the dog hotel. Now, I actually will build another branch going over here, because I don't feel like I have enough going in this direction. So something like that. Is that good? Is that a good tree? It's just a big blob, really, isn't it? Okay, let's give it a go. We're going to replace all of the resin blocks with pale oak wood, because that's the wood type we're going to be using for this. And we'll see how it goes. This is going to be our pale oak tree. So let's just replace all of the blocks. I don't want to see the ends of the logs here, so we'll just make sure to cap it off with the actual wood blocks as well. Alright, so I've swapped all of the resin blocks into pale oak logs, and this is what it looks like at the moment. It looks a lot more like a tree, and that's because, well, the resin doesn't look like a tree. But we were going for the shape with the resin. That's what the purpose of the resin was, and I'll just nab that block because I don't want to lose it. I know I have a lot of pale oak logs, but I never have too many. Now the question is, do I want more branches? Maybe another one going out the top? I think I do, actually. So let's just go out like this. Is that good? Honestly, I think that's fine. So now I have a tree trunk that looks kind of like this. I think this looks pretty good. If I had any criticisms, it's that it's very small and chunky, but I think that can do the trick sometimes. Another criticism of mine is that I've not looked at any reference images for this. This is just me building, placing the blocks. Sometimes just placing blocks works, and sometimes it doesn't. It's probably better if you have like an actual tree that you'd like to try and imitate from the real world, so you can pull that up and get that image next to your screen that's showing Minecraft, and then you can try to build that. But this, I think it's okay. This angle not so great. Does it need another branch going over there? Okay, another branch is going in. Do you want your tree to look good from every angle? If you do a 360 visual of your build and you think, I could do with another branch going off in that direction as an example, then odds are you should probably go ahead and put a branch there. So now the question is, how do we add the little bushy details? And I think for that we need potentially tough walls maybe? We need a block that's as close in colour to this pale oak log texture as possible for this next bit. So, does tough go with pale oak? It can do. It can do. It is a different colour. It's not exactly a different shade of the same colour, but I think that's fine. So we can actually just go right ahead and do this. And we'll actually shave some of these blocks off, because that's what I did for the tree back at the dog hotel, is I actually kind of did a weird little thing like this, where it ends up making the leaves a bit bushier if we have a sort of pronged leaf effect. I don't know how else to describe it, really. What I'm trying to get at is that the ends of the branches need to look like they're sort of dangling down from the weight of the leaves that are on them. That's the kind of effect that I'm going for here. Some areas will have low branches, and I think that's good. You want your tree to look natural. And now that we've added some tough walls to the ends of all of our branches, going in a bit of a droopy fashion, we already have something that kind of looks like an actual tree, and it doesn't even have any leaves on it. And I think that's a really good strategy that I've gone for with the ends of the branches here, because at this point, you don't really need to do too much work, but I will add the leaves because it will make it look a lot bushier once I've got all of these air gaps within all of the leaves in place, whereas now it just looks like I've got floating things everywhere. And now that we have the droopy ends of our branches in place, we can go right ahead and start adding all of our leaves. And you know what? The pale oak leaves are exactly the same colour as the tough walls. Is that a good thing? I don't know. We're going to find out. And really what I'm doing is just surrounding the tough walls here with my leaves, and I think that is pulling off a good job so far. I'm kind of leaving the air gaps in the middle here, but you know what those walls are doing? They are creating a bit of a gap between this piece of leaf and this wall, and I'm not going to put anything directly beneath the walls themselves. I think that creates some air gaps as well, and it does make the thing look a little bit bushier. And now for the buttons. I'm just adding some little knobbly bits just to add a few imperfections to the tree, just to make it look a little bit more bobbly. Also, it spawn proofs the logs that don't have any leaves on them, so this is something you actually do want to do. Okay, let's step back a little. How does this tree look? I think it looks good. It looks good. I think the leaves are maybe too thick, although that is something I'm going for with this enchanted forest. We actually want a thick canopy, and maybe this is good. Maybe it's looking thick because there's so much texture. There's not much transparency on the pale oak leaves, I feel. Is that a thing? I think it looks good. It just needs a little bit more flair, like some random leaves just sort of going off in different directions. We're really just trying to add a few little fluffy bits to the build just to try and make it stick out a little bit in some directions, because I feel like it looks a little bit manufactured at the moment. Okay, how's this then? Yes, that looks a lot fluffier. But like I said, the pale oak leaves, they don't have very much transparency to them. But I do think the custom tree has turned out well, so we just need to build more of these in all of the other wood types. Going to continue on our theme of using every wood type in the game for this, so we'll get some nether trees in here as well as like the oaks and the birches and the spruce and the acacias and all of that nonsense. And hopefully we'll get a pretty good enchanted forest. We'll even mix up some of the trees, so it'll be like half pale oak and half dark oak or something. That could be one. Or maybe we could have like a tree that uses all of them. That could be a good idea. But anyway, I hope you all understand what exactly I am going for with this place, and I'll see you all at the end of that time lapse. Let's go! And welcome back. We have built a lot of custom trees. In fact, I think I had 20 separate clips in that time-lapse, which is a lot for a time-lapse, I'm not gonna lie. So, we have built several entirely custom trees, built by hand. There's no planning for any of these things. And they are all unique trees, all with unique block combinations. Some of them are a bit out there, like we've got on this amethyst tree here. I don't really know what I was trying with this one. I just wanted to see how it turned out. I think it turned out okay. I don't dislike it. We also have this bamboo tree here. I actually really like the combination of the azalea leaves with the bamboo blocks. I think they go really well together. And over here, we even have a petrified tree, completely made out of stone and dead coral blocks. But back to coral again, this is a coral tree. This was a challenge, because as we all know, coral dies if it's not in contact with water. So, what I have here is lots of waterlogged mangrove roots, and that is making up our branches, and the leaves are the coral. So, we have a living coral tree here, and the dead coral makes up the trunk. It's certainly an interesting challenge for me, but I think we pulled it off. We also have an ice-themed tree, which I think turned out pretty well as this thing. I don't really know how to describe the end result with this one, but what I was initially going for was a burnt tree, and then I added leaves to it in the form of mangrove roots and the pale oak leaves. See, that could be an ash particle, I like that. But I don't think I would describe this as a burnt tree anymore. This is some other entity. I'm not quite sure how I would describe this thing, honestly. We also went for some mixture trees, so we've gotten some warped and cherry and pale oak and also acacia logs in this tree, and we matched the leaves with that as well. Let's fly out so that I can actually see it from afar. It turned out okay. I'm not sure about the colours of the leaves. They're a bit weird, but it's certainly unique. I think my favourite of the mixture trees is actually this one. You see how I've got the crimson and the mangrove and the jungle and also the acacia all stripped. And we've also got the bamboo for the fences as well. And I think it's actually turned out really well. I even like the netherwart blocks. That's a really weird thing to say because netherwart blocks don't usually go with builds too well. But I think with the way that I've used them here, it almost looks like fruit on the tree. I just wish that it was a little bit smaller. But to me, with this tree right here, it looks fruity, it looks juicy. It doesn't just look like a giant flesh blob. So I would count this one as a success. But I think my favourite tree is in fact this mixture tree here. So we started off with spruce, dark oak, mangrove, and then onwards to oak. And that combo, that gradient, is not really what I expected it to be at first. I thought that the dark oak would be darker than the spruce, but it turns out that spruce just looks so much wetter than dark oak, and as such, I feel like it's actually darker than the dark oak, which blew my mind, honestly, when I had the blocks next to each other. And we've mixed up all of their respective leaves as well, and I think this tree is probably my favourite tree of the lot. I just love the shape of it. It turned out so well. We also have custom trees of every single type of normal tree. We've got a dark oak, we've got a jungle, we've got birch, acacia, oak over there. And we've also got spruce and cherry, and the nether tree, the pale oak tree, you already saw me build that one. And over here we have a mangrove tree and a crimson tree. I mean, again, they're all built in the same style, but they look entirely different just because of the different block combinations. So yeah, it was really interesting building all of these different trees because none of them are the same, and yet they kind of are because they're in the same style. But they look so different from each other. And I was even able to use the trees to cover up certain pipes that I had for the different items, like the resin. So this dark oak tree, it is currently covering up the pipe for the resin clumps that go into the automatic crafters up there. And this spruce tree is covering up the other side of that. So we had the resin clumps going into the... So this side is the one that went into the furnaces to be turned into the resin brick blocks rather than the resin blocks themselves. And I did actually think that the kelp elevator was a little bit too close to that one, so I moved it a little bit further in this direction, which I think is okay. We don't have to go further that way. Maybe we do. That's my next question for myself, really. How am I going to encase this thing? Because I don't particularly like the fact that the horizon suddenly ends. I mean, we're high above an ocean here. There is no terrain anywhere. So as soon as I look beyond the platform, there's nothing. I could be playing a Skyblock world right now. I wouldn't know. So I think what we're going to do is potentially encase the place, this entire forest, maybe in a black concrete cube, and then we could potentially have some fun with making stars or something. I don't know. We have a few clearings that I can look upwards and see the stars, so maybe that would be a good idea. I also made sure to place lots and lots of lightning rods pretty early on because I remembered that a lot of these trees are very, very flammable, and I wouldn't want to start a forest fire here, no. The creaking spawning platform has also had a complete makeover, so now it just doesn't look like a floating blob of blue ice, which I think is pretty good. I do need to create a bit of a window here. I like being able to see the wall of all of the pale oak logs and the creaking hearts and the resin and all of the items falling off, but the fact that it's landing on the side here, that is no good. No good at all. So I think we need a wall of some kind to encase our creaking hearts here. I like being able to see it because it's actually quite satisfying watching all of the pistons move. But yeah, we have to do something about this, don't we? Bang! It's actually quite fun doing this in F5 as well. Like, bang! And You don't get instantly blinded by all of the particles, but it just gives an entirely new perspective to the thing, doesn't it? Now, one of the goals of building this forest was that I didn't have to build an upper story of the 2 builds that I have here, like this little viewing platform for the creakings, and also the storage system for all of the resin and the kelp blocks. And I think on this side we have probably succeeded in that endeavour. I think there's a couple of torches up there somewhere that might need removing, but once all of those light sources are removed, you shouldn't be able to see that upper area anymore. The same cannot be said for this build. The leaves are just ever so slightly too thin here, and I can see that the build just sort of stops above the first floor. So I will need to come up with some sort of solution there. But that's okay, solutions are always fun to find. Bang! Hang on. That means I can watch them. Ow. Sir, I am observing you all moving. It's so interesting seeing them all slot into place like that, don't you think? I've basically moved one cylinder from one side to the other. I mean, just look at this perfect cylinder here. Beautiful. Anyway, I think the Enchanted Forest has turned out really well so far. None of the trees are alike. They all have their own different block combinations. So now all we need to do is come up with our own custom terrain for the place. And I think the Enchanted Forest would be well on its way to completion. After that point, it's just encasing the thing in a giant cube and covering up the creaking hearts here so that we don't get lots of loss. This is too much. We don't want to lose our resin. I mean, this adds up over time as well. Like, I've barely hit the creakings. If I have an entire night of this, we would lose a ridiculous amount of resin. It would be so laggy. Yeah, please let me know. What do you think of the Enchanted Forest so far? Do you like it? Please, let me know in the comments down below. And on that note, I will see you all in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed. Bye! Oh, and before I go, I am so sorry. I did not mean for it to take over a month before the next episode. Please forgive me. Oh, that is too long indeed. Let's hope we don't end up letting that happen again.